AP wins reinstatement to White House events after judge rules government can't bar journalists. This is a big win for the First Amendment. Now, for those of you guys who are not in the know, basically, Trump has renamed the Gulf of Mexico into the Gulf of America. Now, the reason why Trump does this is because he's an insecure little man with little hands. And the problem is that he wants a legacy that he needs to be able to pass down. This is why he wants to have a Russia-Ukraine peace deal so bad. This is also why he wants to deport people and have these people remain deported. So then when people ask him, Trump, what did you do during your 8 years of presidency other than wreck the economy and say, grab him by the pussy and everything of that sort? Well, he can then say, well, I renamed the Gulf of Mexico into the Gulf of America. Are you fucking kidding me? You've got to be fucking joking, right? So you're telling me that you destroyed America's place in the world to do what? Rename the Gulf of Mexico into the Gulf of America? And the rest of the world doesn't even respect it? And this was like 400 years known as the Gulf of Mexico? 4 centuries. Okay, let's continue because this story is just the beginning, okay? Because at some point, okay, now we all know that Trump is infamously known for impeding journalists in White House press conferences. So essentially, whenever there's a journalist who gets a little, who uses the First Amendment a little bit too much, okay? Whenever a journalist uses, free speech a little bit too much, Trump gets a little pissy, okay? Trump gets a little pissy. The press secretaries get a little pissy. What happens is that they are just barred. Some journalists are just straight up banned from press briefings. And not only that, they're prevented from being on Air Force One to interview the president. They're barred. And this essentially sabotages their business. Now, one of the guarantees of the First Amendment is freedom of the press. It's freedom to say whatever you want, freedom of expression, and freedom of the press. Now, the press is important because no matter what the government wants you to think or whatever they want to say, the press is responsible for holding the government accountable for the American people. Now, various press companies have varying levels of integrity, but AP News is actually regarded as one of the best, if not the best, news outlet in the world. And the reason for this is just simply because, well, their reporting is fantastic. They have amazing journalists. They are just simply amazing in general, all right? So they're kind of viewed as a step above Fox News and a step above CNN and a step above MSNBC when it comes to articles, all right? Just to give you guys an idea of how much America follows AP News, when Fox News and CNN announced the Biden win over the 2020 elections, everybody waited on AP News first. Every single news outlet follows after AP News. AP News announces who wins first, and then every single outlet follows AP News because they're like, you know what? If AP News is putting their neck out on the line, we're going to follow what AP News says. Okay? So that's the reality. Even New York Times follow AP News. Okay? So that's how that's how strong the integrity of AP News is. Okay? Now with that being said, AP News has said, you know what? We're going to follow, it being called the Gulf of Mexico over it being called the Gulf of America. Now, this did not sit well with Trump, nor his goons, nor his dick suckers, all right? What happens is essentially AP News is kept out of the press room for reasons in addition to this. And so, recently, what has happened is that AP News just won back its right to be in these events. This is a big win for the First Amendment, for free speech, and for democracy. Because it shows that even though the government wants you to use the Gulf of Mexico, AP News refuses. Why? Because the rest of the world still recognizes that place as the Gulf of Mexico. That is why. So, let's continue. Okay, let's just read a little bit of this article, all right? A federal judge ordered the White House on Tuesday to restore the Associated Press's full access to cover presidential events, affirming on First Amendment grounds that the government cannot punish the news organization for the content of its speech. U.S. District Judge Trevor N. McFadden, an appointee of President Donald Trump. So this is not a judge that Obama appointed. This is not a judge that Biden appointed. This is a Trump judge. Just so you guys can know how blatantly violating of the First Amendment Trump is, okay? A Trump-appointed judge ruled that the government cannot retaliate against the AP's decision not to follow the president's executive order to rename the Gulf of Mexico. You can't do that. Free speech. Just like how you have the freedom to burn American flags or burn the gay pride flag, anything like that, okay? The decision, while a preliminary injunction, handed the AP a major victory. At the time, the White House has been challenging the press on several levels, which is true, okay? We have Trump essentially threatening to sue the press. Trump essentially threatening to sue pollsters. Can anybody please tell me why people still defend Trump's free speech? Can anyone please tell me if Trump really is pro-free speech? The answer is no. You can't defend this. There's no way. Because I promise you, if Obama or Biden did anything like this that you see right here, it's going to be a national scandal. It's going to be on Fox News every day of every week for a month or 2 months. But you know why Biden doesn't do stuff like this? It's because he actually believes in free speech. Don't make this mistake. I want everybody to follow this from now on. The left, the Democrats are the party of free speech. Not the right, the Democrats. Every single time an example is brought up of the left being anti-free speech, it's always about social media. It's about stuff that actually makes sense. Like COVID misinformation. You've got to be fucking kidding me. But whenever the right brings up free speech related things, do you know what they say? You know what they say? They say, you have insulted our God Emperor Donald Trump. How dare you? How fucking dare you? How fucking dare you go against Donald Trump? He is our God. These are not equal. What the fuck? These are not equal. Don't let right-leaning commentators get away with this. Don't let right-leaning commentators make this equivalency. Okay. Finally, okay? For any of you guys, again, that are wondering, okay, well, why should we care? Why should we care about the Gulf of America, the Gulf of Mexico, and whether or not AP News can get back in? For anyone who thinks the Associated Press's lawsuit against President Trump's White House is about the name of a body of water, think bigger, Julie Pace, the AP's executive editor, wrote in the Wall Street Journal op-ed. It's really about whether the government can control what you say. And it's as simple as that, really, isn't it?